Looking good, Mike, but I've been watching John Bowe over the last 24 hours, and I think he really wants to win this race. He had fast time in the warm-up this morning, and I think he might just be the praying mantis that those Holden boys should be worrying about.
Qualifying times yesterday, of course, showed that Peter Brock sprung a surprise on everyone in the Telecom Mobile Net Commodore 132.74. But look who's alongside of him on the line. Wayne Gardner in the Coke Commodore 132.95. Then John Bowe. Mark Skaife, fourth fastest in qualifying yesterday, followed by Glenn Seaton, the defending champion, and Larry Perkins in the Castrol Commodore, rounding out the sixth. Peter Brock yesterday springing a surprise, as I said, and it brought a very interesting reaction from Mark Skaife.
Well, payday's tomorrow. You wait and see which Commodore's up there then. There's a couple of guys this time that have out-qualified us, but on a tyre they won't be able to race any good on.
I think I got some bad news for him. Unfortunately, fellas, the car's looking good.
An interesting reaction there from Mark Skaife, but a good reply from Brock.
Well, I think the fact is Skaife's had a mortgage on that front row for a long time, the first few races for sure, and the fact that Peter pops up in front of him, it gets his ire a bit.
No doubt about that. The draw for the Peter Jackson Dash is important on a Sunday morning. Peter Brock was looking for one. It didn't. It went to Gardner.
Wayne Gardner's drawn position number one. The last two circuits we've been at, Wayne, have been quite tight. The open space here at Eastern Creek, is that going to suit the Coca-Cola Commodore?
Well, the way it's qualified, it's been running really well. We're very happy with the performance, and I thought I would have been dominated by the Fords, but you know, the car's running really strong, so hopefully this will be a win for us.
And you're starting to enjoy this Peter Jackson Dash?
I'm starting to enjoy motor racing again.
So there is the field now for the Peter Jackson Dash with Wayne Gardner on pole, Glenn Seaton alongside. Row 2, Skaife and Larry Perkins in the back row, Peter Brock, John Bowe off the start, and there's Skaife. Pulls one straight between them. Seaton has muffed the start. Gardner will win the start into the first corner, but he'll have to hug it in tight here because Mark Skaife will go around the outside of him, which he does and loses it.
Dicey
The
move.
impetuous Mark got into all the dust. The crowd has just erupted here in the grandstand. That's the second off this morning. And the rest of them say bye-bye.
He's out of it now.
Well, he's out of the dash. That won't really affect his chances later today. But Wayne Gardner, there's Mark Skaife in the Winfield Commodore trying to get it back on track again. Now it's fired. Gardner comes down the hill, leading from Larry Perkins and John Bowe.
Keep in mind too, these guys, let's have a look on the Tui's red replay. I don't know if there was any contact there, but it was pretty tight coming through that turn one. Skaife round and around, about 3 or 4 360s off in the dust. And keep in mind too, Skaife's on his race tyres, so they'll have all sorts of rubbish on them now. We've also lost another one, Peter Brock out of the action. Yeah. Skaife gets the car back on the island. He's going to try and pick up the threads, but Brock out of the action completely, it seems.
Definitely limping there, and pole position last night didn't help him at all here today.
So 2 down, 4 left. Commodore, Falcon. We expected the Falcons to be quicker here. They certainly were earlier in the week, but yesterday in qualifying, the Holdens really found a lot of speed, particularly this man, Wayne Gardner, in the ever-improving Coca-Cola Commodore. He leads them onto the straight once again. Larry Perkins in second place. John Bowe in the brand new FIA Shell Falcon. And here we are in fourth place aboard Glenn Seaton's Peter Jackson Falcon, courtesy of Budget Race Camp. They flash across the start-finish line. 2 laps to go.
John Bowe in on the inside.
Yes, he's left the door open here just a little bit, and Bowe will be up there and snooker him very quickly, which he does. So John Bowe, brand spanking new car, and set the pace here in practice on Friday and the early part of yesterday. But at the moment, he's going after Wayne Gardner, and Perkins says, to hell with you.
Yeah.
Down the inside, was just about to christen the rear quarter panel of the Falcon.
He's got Larry's hair up on Sunday morning. Not the way to go about it.
Well, there's a few important championship points on the board here. 3-2-1 for first, second and third, plus passing points, and John Bowe's already made quite an impression on that.
And it's Wayne Gardner and the Coca-Cola Commodore starting to stretch it. Perkins coming back here at the tail of John Bowe, and Glenn Seaton starting to close it up as well as they make their way to the bottom turn, the left-hander. And just look at the top-end speed of Larry Perkins' Holden Commodore. He sits now right on the tail of John Bowe and will try and make a run up on the inside. And Bowe is very quick. The car sits beautifully in that turn. Up now to the looping left here that brings them back onto the finishing straight at Eastern Creek. One corner ahead of us as they go beneath the bridge and into the right-hander down the other side of Corporate Hill. There's the gap between our race leader Wayne Gardner and the Coke Commodore. Second spot still held by John Bowe and the Shell FAI Falcon. Next is Perkins, and right on the tail of Perkins is the defending champion Glenn Seaton. They are tight indeed. Mark Skaife out there and motoring, but well and truly out of the picture as they exit the final turn, and it's checkered flag time, and guess who's going to pick it up? our ex-Formula 500 champ, Wayne Gardner, and the Coke Commodore wins the Peter Jackson Dash over John Bowe, Larry Perkins, and Glenn Seaton in car number 1. Here's the winner. Congratulations to Wayne Gardner, confirming them for you on the Shell race score. John Bowe on the Shell FAI Falcon finished in 2nd. Larry Perkins was 3rd. Glenn Seaton 4th, and rounding out the 5, a rather disappointed Mark Skaife.
Yeah, Mark Skaife was certainly very unlucky, but the lucky boy is Wayne Gardner. Congratulations.
Thank you, yeah, and I was pretty happy with that. Mark and I had a coming together in the first corner, and he left me no room. I couldn't go on the grass, and he turned in on himself and he spun out, so I suppose a bit of luck to my side, and I just kept going, tried to keep it clean, and I noticed that I pulled away, so and had a slow down lap at the end, so I was pretty happy.
I have no doubt Wayne Gardner is now enjoying his motor racing.
Well, I think it's a credit to the team. They've worked hard. They started behind the 8-ball, brand new cars at the beginning of the year. You don't go from wherever you start in this business to the front in a hurry, and they've done that, and credit to them.
Wayne Gardner is already a winner here today at Eastern Creek, but can he provide the same result in heat number 1? Don't go away. We'll be back with more championship action. A busy scene at Eastern Creek Raceway with all the fans down on the track meeting the drivers, and down there amongst them, it's hello to Dougie Mulray.
Thanks, Mike. That's lovely. Am I a serious interviewer? I'm a critical interviewer. I want you to know that.
I know, waiting for really heavy-duty questions here.
Mate, all yesterday you ignored your proctologist's best advice and sat on pole.
I know.
What happened this morning?
Well, I went pretty good in the warm-up, and I simply broke a gear shift lever. Really, it seems to be a bit of an epidemic of them at the moment. Wayne Gardner broke one in the warm-up lap. I waited until the first corner on the dash.
It's repaired?
It's repaired. It's looking good. Yeah, we'll be right.
Yeah, can you take the pole to first place in the first heat?
Well, I see no reason why not. It's a matter of a clean start, nice bit of road and everything else. And a bit of road is so important in racing these days. Just getting there, getting it accurate, getting it neat, getting the power on, not burning up the tyres, that sort of thing.
Thank you, Peter. Vote for Eastern Creek.
Thank you, Dougie. Let's check them out for you for heat number 1. Peter Brock is back on pole in the Telecom Mobile Net Commodore, starting out of position 2, and the new track record holder, Wayne Gardner in the Coke Commodore. Out of 3 is John Bowe, the Shell FAI Falcon. From 4 is Mark Skaife in the Winfield Commodore, and Glenn Seaton in the Peter Jackson Falcon, out of position number 5. From 6, it's number 11, Larry Perkins, the Castrol Commodore. From 7, 015, Thomas Mazzera, the second of the Telecom cars. 8, 17, Dick Johnson of Queensland, the Shell FAI Falcon. From 9, it's 7, Neil Crompton, the Coke Commodore. And from 10, car number 6, Jimmy Richards, the Winfield Commodore.
Just missing the top 10, Alan Jones in car 30. From 12, car 23, Paul Morris in the Diet Coke Commodore. From 13, car 25, Tony Longhurst in the Benson and Hedges Holden. From 14, Greg Crick. For 15, car 33, Bob Pearson. From position 16, car 27, Terry Finnegan, the Sydney Privateer. From 17, car 3, Steve Reed. From 18, 39, Chris Smurden. Out of 19, car 26, Donnie Watson. And out of 20, car 12, Bob Jones in the Ampol Max 3 Commodore.
From position 21, Ian Palmer, the Holden Commodore. 22 is 16, Graham Blythman. From 23, 41, Gary Wilmington, another of the Falcon EBs. 24, 47, John Trimble. And 25, 36 is Neil Shembry. And the field is now set. Race number 1, round number 7 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. A perfect start from Pete, let's hope so. They're ready to blast at Eastern Creek before a huge crowd here today. Brock and Gardner on the front row, and off they go. Here goes Skaife between the pair of them again. Gardner loses the start, but Brocky wins it down on the inside, and Seaton up on the outside of Bowe as they head into turn number 1. And Peter Perfect gets there with Mark Skaife right behind him in the Winfield Commodore, and they sweep through this very fast left-hander coming up to almost a stop-start turn. The next left-hander caught on the outside is Jimmy Richards, and now on the inside of him was Neil Crompton making a good inside run. Longhurst is away smartly, and we have the field set.
A fabulous start by Brock, a truly great start, and Skaife equally a good start considering he had to come up from the second row but not able to capitalize. on the position that Brock's got on him on that opening start.
Look at Neil Crompton starting to come through the field in the number 7 Coca-Cola Commodore. Neil very quick in the warm-up this morning, 3 or 4 tenths off pole position, so expect him to make a good charge as they come through on these opening laps.
John Bow makes it up to 4th spot, sits in behind Wayne Gardner, lost the start after winning the start in the dash this morning and setting a new track record during that 3-lapper, has broken Glenn Seaton's record. Seaton has been a pretty tough boy to beat round here in the past.
Well, Brock will be loving this.
Look at this. Oh, look at John Bow. He gets inside. Whoa, he's gone right around.
Oh, John, wait. The new car, fortunately, hasn't stuck the tail into the wall and make Dick Johnson do some thinking.
Very deeply under brakes. Tried to sneak down the inside of Wayne Gardner. Gardner held his ground and Bow around, and once again he's failed to put a race result together. Very disappointing for Bow on the brand new Shell 18 Falcon.
Well, aggressive driving is one thing, Mark, but you still have to be able to pick your point and know what you're doing with your vehicle. And I think John will be rehearsing that move again in his.
Look at the Peter Brock fans up and shouting. Let's look at the Tui's red replay of that incident. Bow down the inside. He bumps Gardner, then around again. Just too much speed on.
He was virtually straight ahead. He just didn't have his car in control, and he's paid the penalty. But Brock, you'll be loving this. Fresh air in front of him, nothing but fresh air. He'll be leading a top field. 27 cars here today at Eastern Creek. Fabulous turnout, great day, and the crowd just loving it.
And Glenn Seaton starting to look a little on the menacing side as he moves up on the tail of Wayne Gardner's Coke Commodore. Back behind them is the number 17 car. But as they go to the left, you'll notice that the rest of the field, including Paul Morris, trying to get onto that leading freight train. We take budget race cam. Coming up on the inside with Glenn Seaton into the left-hander.
Scaife taking on plenty of dust there as he gets wide on the turn up this part of the circuit.
That's dangerous in lots of ways, Mark. Not only does it get into the engine and eat away at those cylinder walls, it also does get into the tires and upsets the driver momentarily.
Speaking of tyres, we've got a fascinating scrap here of the races. Oh, big brake lock up there. I'm not sure that was Scaife or Gardner.
Gardner.
But we've got Bridgestone, Yokohama and Dunlop once again locked in this fascinating tyre battle. The drivers don't tell you what rubber they're putting on. It's best to get secreting motor racing at the moment.
You can't blame them for that. All the tyre companies are very, very involved and working hard to keep their top teams up there. And naturally, there's a selection of tyres for each team. So if Brock is on soft rubber and making himself look good here in the opening heat, he's only going to pay for it next round.
Oh, listen to the fans going wild. The Bathurst Terro is up and tearing him apart here today at Eastern Creek. Long gone, they said in the telecom team. He's gone. There he goes. There's the gap back to Scaife. And you know Scaife is going to have Gardner on his tail. And the bloke in the blue Falcon wants to get by Gardner as quickly as possible as we take budget race cam riding with Glenn Seaton, the exit to turn number 2. Brock's lead out to 1.99 seconds. No idiosyncrasies about that.
You can see the Falcon handling characteristics that Glenn closing through the corners, as we've seen on occasion. The Shell cars doing exactly the same. The Falcons have got tremendous cornering speed, but there's 3 fast Commodores in front of Glenn Seaton at the moment. He's got a lot of work in front of him.
Well, he'd make life easier, I guess, for himself if he could ever perfect the good start, Glenn. He loses the start just about every race.
In a caliber of competition that we're witnessing here, Mike, you can't give a guy a tenth of a second. You can't even blink. If you do, you're going to say goodbye to him, and that's what happened. Peter Brock got a perfect start.
Oh, look at this. Oh, Scaife got a locked-up brake, and Gardner made up an enormous amount of ground coming into that hairpin.
We take Castrol race cam riding with Wayne Gardner and the Coke Commodore up to the right-hander. He's trying to gain on Mark Scaife, and every time he looks in the mirror, there's a big blue Falcon sitting there.
The hot tip is that teammate Neil Crompton went for a more conservative tyre choice than Wayne Gardner. Wayne very quick in qualifying, and we hope his Dunlops are going to hang in for these 2 heats.
It's getting a bit tight here for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Seaton's going to have to plot this very carefully where he tries to make a move on Wayne Gardner. Wayne will be protecting 3rd, make no doubt about that. There's Brock disappearing into the left-hander.
Brock's lead out to 2.2 seconds over Mark Scaife. So Brock's really putting in the big ones here in these opening laps.
Here's a little look down on the inside. We'll show you the gap, the visual gap in just a second as they round the left-hander. There's Brock. It's out to just over 2 seconds, 2.23 seconds. Scaife is next. Then you've got the Coke Commodore with Wayne Gardner, and right behind him is Glenn Seaton and the Peter Jackson Falcon.
You see the dust going up there on the edge of the corner. These fellows are using every inch of the road, every bit of tarmac that's available to them.
Trying to work out whether or not we have Dick Johnson, who's sitting one back behind them, and dropping down the pack, of course, was John Bow.
These blokes are moving visually. They're very, very snappy through all these corners, Mark, and you can imagine the strain that's going on behind the wheel. Driving in close company is not easy. Here's now Seaton lunging up, took advantage, and he's gone.
Seaton through.
It's only the camera that's gone. Yes, right.
Very clean overtaking move there by Seaton. He moves up to third position. Gardner back to fourth. So it's Brock, Scaife, Seaton, Gardner, Johnson, Perkins, and Crompton. It's the top 7. Neil making a good charge through too.
And also thinking Gardner was a little on the lucky side that when Bowie jumped down the inside, he didn't actually rub something on a tyre there and take Gardner out of the race.
Good clean driving there by Glenn Seaton. He just waited to the right moment and had the momentum to pass nicely. And he might start thinking that his next victim will be Mark Scaife.
Gives you an idea of the spread over the field as they head to turn number 1. That very, very fast left-hander. That was the gap from our race leader. Here he is. Peter Perfect in the Telecom Mobile Net, co-sponsored by Mobil. He disappears out of turn number 2.
Oh, who's that, 4 or 7? I think
Looks
that's
like
Crompton.
7.
That's Crompton.
Well, he might have opted for a conservative setup. That's very conservative where he's parked at the moment.
It's always a tough choice. Personally, whenever I had a choice between a softish tire and a hard one, I went for the soft tire, Mike, because it gave me more car control, and I was able then to nurse the vehicle around the tires. When you run a hard tire, you tend to think, I can't do anything wrong, but you don't have the grip you need, and then you start overdriving the car anyway.
And Crompton was up to 7th before he departed the field into the kitty litter. Left-hander budget race cam riding with Glenn Seaton down to the right-hander, the next one.
He's serving notice here on Mark Scaife for sure. He's
trying to duck up the inside, not enough there.
Boy, Scaife's been a lucky boy today. He spun off in the dash, right across the 3 or 4 360s through the dust. We thought he might have done some damage to the tyres or flat spotted them at least, but apparently not. The car cornering very, very nicely, but Seaton making big inroads on this second place here.
I think they went back and dusted each one off by hand, mate. That would have been a personal job for 4 mechanics. Clean each one of these tires, please.
Look at Seaton in the draft now. Tucks under the wing of the Winfield Commodore as they come down this big, long straight once again. Peter Brock controlling the pace at the front. 34.7, about 2 seconds off his qualifying pace.
Don't ever kid yourself that Freddie Gibson hasn't got some power coming out of the Winfield Commodores this season. That car actually got away, I thought, a metre. It's only from here that Seaton will make it all up under brakes and the grunt coming out of the turn. Here he is, up on the inside.
He's gone round. Another one.
Just how critical when you're, come on, quick recovery, Glenn, get back out there.
I think he's high centered the car, has he?
Yep.
He's stuck the underbody of the car over these new ripple strips, and look, he's
teeter-tottered it.
Just look at that on the Tui's red replay. He's really been giving Scaife plenty. Scaife locks up, Seaton takes advantage, but then
just maybe
see
a touch.
the wheel spun out of Glenn's hand. He grabbed it, tried to grab it, but
now he wasn't in too much trouble here because he tried to get back on the track, but he's high-sided now in the middle of the ripple strip.
There's a dream run for Brock. He's got all his main competitors out of behind him.
That is a critical thing in the championship here. Seaton slowly closing the gap on Scaife after that excellent result at Winton, but that is a major blow.
Here's Brocky. Have a grin from ear to ear next time by. And Mark Scaife thinking, it's not supposed to happen like this, but I'll pick the pieces up anytime. He hasn't done anything wrong.
Gap back is 2.7 seconds. Seaton's got back in the car now for the marshals try and get it off this high side. But that's well and truly stuck. You can see the concrete lip there stuck right under the bodywork.
Look, they're actually giving it a teeter there.
I think might have been better the other way of hoisting it back in. Listen to the crowd. Rocky's in front, running away with this one as he goes to turn 1. Second spot still being held by Scaife. Then it's Wayne Gardner over Dick Johnson. Larry Perkins is next, followed by Alan Jones. Then it's Thomas Mazira in 015 and Jimmy Richards in car number 6. Checking them out officially for you on our Shell race score. Oh, that man that's dominated Bathurst leads it. Peter Brock looking good today. Mark Scaife in 2nd. Wayne Gardner is 3rd. Dick Johnson is 4th. And Larrikin Larry runs in 5th. Back here at Eastern Creek Raceway, race 1 of round 7. The Shell Australian Touring Car Championship continues. It's out to over 3 seconds with Peter Brock in 05, the Telecom Mobile Net. Commodore VP, there's the gap as he comes through on the other side of Corporate Hill. The run downhill to the right-hander. 10 laps to go in the first championship race here today before a brilliant crowd at Eastern Creek. Glenn Seaton.
Back in business.
Well, he's got back going again and the rest of the field, so he's dropped at least a lap, at least, as we welcome Dougie Mulray, and it's all happening here at the Creek, Doug.
Absolutely. What a fantastic day. What a fantastic race. What are the regulations on assistance of that kind? Alan, is he allowed to
safety
seek
issue.
assistance?
They wanted to get the car out of there. It's only right that the marshal should have helped him.
So he's back in the race.
He's back. He won't be disqualified. But here's a sight that Ford fans will not be wanting to look at. Peter Brock out in front.
There's Mark
Bathurst
Skate.
4 months away. That's an ominous sight to see that Holden out in front. Ominous sight for the Ford fans, I mean.
I think the man who's running second, Scapey, said that Peter wasn't serious, that when the real race came, that the red car and the blue car would be dominating, but Peter Brock seems to have found something since his last outing. This car is going like a rocket, and he's dominating this field easily.
Well, he certainly hasn't got it on automatic pilot, Doug. He's handling it and manhandling it around there and doing well, and the rest are his victims at the moment.
There's Gardner going through, having a red letter day here at Eastern Creek, and sitting not too far back in arrears to Gardner is Queensland's favourite son, Dickie Johnson. Looking good, son.
Yeah, well, for a change, Mike, I don't know what's happened. Everyone's fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, some silly little offs there, no bent cars, but some drops in driver concentration.
Yeah, it certainly is, mate. You know, with all the grass and that around here, I suppose a lot of these Kiwis gets excited, don't they?
Well, it doesn't look too bad around here. It's a little on the dry side, though, the grass.
Well, mate, it's just like the two Irishmen standing on the side of the road, and they saw a truck go past with a load of turf on.
Yeah.
And Paddy says to Mick, he says, geez, Mick, he says, you know, he said, when I get really, really rich, he says, I'm going to send my grass out to be mowed too.
Oh, go away. Well, all right, see if you can do something about those Commodores in front of you.
One can only hope, Mike.
Go for it.
I will.
Thanks, pal. Dickie Johnson, and there's Glenn Seaton into the pit area, is a little on the unhappy side. He's going to pass up the remainder of this race and try and get ready for the second one.
Something's wrong.
Well, something's bound to be wrong. He's hung the thing up on the ripple strips. He's probably damaged his exhaust system. He could have damaged the tail shaft. The car clearly isn't competitive, and he's retired to prepare himself for the second heat.
That's the important thing. You know, you can't throw everything away in the first, because the second one is equally as important, carries the same number of points. Scaife at this, yeah, it was close. Scaife doing a good job holding on to second. Gardner's there, rock steady in third, and Dick Johnson is one back in fourth spot. John Bow, who we thought was in this with a big chance, is now made it back up to 11th. Let's go down to the pits. A disappointed Glenn Seaton, and with him it's Andy Raymond.
Yes, Mike, a very disappointed Glenn Seaton. Glenn, they're just putting the Peter Jackson Ford back in the pits now. What's happened?
Oh, really, when I got caught on that curb trying to come back on the track, Andy, it's moving. It's knocked the exhaust around a little bit underneath, but we could keep going, but it's not worth it because you just wear out the tyres, and that means I've got to start off the back of the grid in the next one.
And it was all going so well the last few rounds. You were bridging the gap between yourself and Mark Scaife. Disappointing.
Yeah, it is really, because I had the pacer mark out there then, that's for sure. Like I could nail him through the corners, no problem. It's down the straights, he'd nail me. But no, it's one of those things. I've made a mistake, simple, going in there.
Well, he's man enough to admit it, and I think everyone knew that. We thought he had the line to the inside, but whether there was a touch or not, and it was ever so minor, but it was enough to put him around.
Well, Scaife locked the brake up. It was worth a look, I thought.
Yes.
He just couldn't keep a handle on it. That's a tough corner, that little hairpin. Especially after the sweeper. You know, you get in the mood for a
lot
bit
of momentum going into that corner.
What we have here, back just a little in front of Alan Jones, you'll get the next time that we pick up on the field going through. And there's Brocky. That gap is 4.3 seconds. Then Mark Scaife, followed by Wayne Gardner. Next is Johnson, and the one putting a lot of pressure on is Larry Perkins, as Alan Jones looked like he got the
recovering from something there.
Yeah.
Just a little off, I think.
Now here's Larrick and Larry in the Castrol Commodore. Johnson's car's got the proper sways up on the Dunlops today.
Yeah, Larry's looking dangerous there. I think he's got Dick in his sights. I wonder if this car is running the Chevrolet yet. Isn't it obligatory to run the Chevy by the end of the year?
Well, whether it's obligatory or not, you're not going to get an answer from Larry Perkins.
He says it's got GM on it.
It's a GM engine.
He's campaigned that Holden V8 so successfully. I think he still wants people to think he's got it under the bonnet.
What he has got is a car set up. He always sets the car up for the race. He's not a stopwatch itis driver. He doesn't go off his brain. He doesn't get upset with himself when he's not on the front row. He sets his car up for the job that's in front of him on Sunday.
As he demonstrated at
Mr.
Bathurst.
Consistency in terms of laps and value for sponsor, money invested. Here's one team that has really paid dividends.
6 laps to go in race 1 of round 7, the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Across the strike, Dickie Johnson running back there in 4th spot. Larry Perkins is 5th. Ahead of them, Wayne Gardner, Mark Scaife. The man at the front of the pack is, of course, Peter Brock in the Telecom Mobile Net Commodore.
A lot of speed through those corners. That angle showed the Shell car coming through there. They're really moving. Anyone sitting at home that's never seen an Australian Touring Car Championship race in the real, believe me, they're missing a treat. These cars are really moving. They're very dramatic.
This is the Dunlop race cam in the back of Dickie Johnson's car, and there goes Larry Perkins, Chevrolet or Holden, we know not.
Well, that was a good move down on the inside. You caught it on our Dunlop race cameras. They rip up into the left-hander now. So that has advanced Perkins up to 4th.
You can only make a move like that, Mike, when you've got total confidence in the car. You know exactly how much retardation you're going to get from your brakes. You've got a good feel for the G-forces that are involved, and he just picked up Dick like he was standing still there.
So Perkins advances one more spot. Thomas Mazera there, coming up 1 behind Dick Johnson. Dick qualified down the field yesterday. I think it was back in about 8th or 9th, and was a little unhappy. Felt happy about the fact his second car, the new 18 car, qualified so well. But Dick's going to finish in front of that in this first heat today.
He's not running away from Dick, but he's certainly making an impression on Wayne Gardner. It'll be interesting to see if in the remaining 5 laps he's able to do any better than he's presently doing.
Nice slide coming onto the straight there by Dick Johnson. A true 4-wheel drift. That was very dramatic and shows there's nothing wrong with Dick's approach to racing at the moment.
Well, it's good to see a couple of the guys like Wayne Gardner, who forming your own team, and Alan's spoken on this on many occasions, that make Dean Wills a pretty proud old patron today, because he's been very supportive of Wayne Gardner, and they're looking good.
Well, sponsors have to be supported. Like if they think they can go in and in 2 months get their money back on an investment, when you have people here that have made it their lifetime careers, getting where they are and doing the job, a sponsor has to be supportive and take the long haul approach.
I think we have an interesting dice developing here as Dick is trying to fend off Thomas Mazera. Thomas is covering Dick's mirrors on both the left and the right.
Is he what?
They sweep out of here, coming up to that very fast left-hander, and then the run down to the right-hander at Corporate Hill. Mazera can position himself down here on the inside of Dick. He can't on the approach. Dick goes in, just fondles the brakes there. So Thomas,
he's looking inside and outside. He must nail Dick.
What's the approach? I mean, if he used the right line, he'll make it.
Great pictures from Dunlop race cam. You can imagine the fear and loathing going on inside the Dick Johnson car as this man climbs all over him, just looking for a way through.
4 laps to go, Brocky across the line. The gap's still opening all the time. Scaife in second, Gardner in third. 4th is Larry Perkins, 5th is Dick Johnson, and here comes Thomas, the red mist. Into the bottom turns, fans all jump up in the grandstand, seeing whether or not the Ford man can hold off this fast-running Thomas Mazera. The only shot is the inside shot to this corner. Now he'll go back underneath, do a Glenn Seaton. He couldn't do it there.
Lost a lot of momentum there. Would have been better off going in a little bit earlier, pulling up a little bit earlier and coming through the corner faster. But that's easy for us to say. Good indication of the...
Here he comes. He's looking up the inside. Dick closes him out, opens the door on the inside. He has another look.
He's definitely working him over. There's no 2 ways about it. He'll be looking like a windscreen wiper in Dick's mirror.
He'll have jockeyage after this heat, I assure you.
Here he comes.
So Thomas Mazera down on the inside.
Oh, and the crowd goes wild. It's a very Holden crowd here this afternoon. They love Brocky leading this, and they just cheered when Mazera put one on Dick.
It's a formidable indication of the level of engineering that has come through in the Holden racing team. To have both cars doing so well, Brocky out in front and Mazera coming through the field, it's rather ominous for anybody that wants to analyze what's in front of them in 4 months' time at Bathurst.
It's interesting, isn't it, the level of sophistication and commitment, sponsor support, yet everyone still focuses on Bathurst, the magic of Bathurst. It's a mystique that would be very difficult to explain to anybody who hadn't been born and raised in this country, I think.
A world-class event, Doug, which can stand the test anywhere in the world. There isn't probably a finer touring car race anywhere in the world, and we should be proud of it. We should promote it.
Here comes Brocky. Scored his 51st career pole here yesterday. Neil Shembry waves Brocky by on the outside, gives him plenty of racing room.
Yeah,
There's
with
the
this
gap.
kind of a lead, it doesn't matter what tire choice Peter chose. He's now in a position to nurse what he's got on the car, and I'm sure they'll serve him well again for the second heat as well.
Mark Scaife goes
Oh,
through.
look at Larry.
Larry's right up on the tail here of Wayne Gardner in the 4 car. And Larry will make life most uncomfortable.
He's not averse to giving people the odd nudge, is he?
He's a race driver, and he's not out there for a Sunday drive. He knows that his job is to get up to the front, and if he's not leading a race, he's attacking the people that are in front of him.
That car's very balanced. Look at it, sitting much flatter than the Coca-Cola Commodore.
He's got it set up very nicely to do the job, and I'd be surprised if in the second heat we don't see, with his better starting position, an even stronger finish from Larry Perkins.
This scrap continues between Wayne Gardner and Larry Perkins. In the meantime, Gary Wilmington gets the blow-by from Dick Johnson as Thomas Mazera in 015 chases the field down the front straight. 2 laps to go. As Lightning Larry got a bit of thunder left in the inside pass. He's setting it up here on Gardner. Gardner keeps the stick all the way to the floor and manages to thwart that challenge from Larry Perkins.
Good
Up to the
slipstreaming
left,
there.
yeah, to the left-hander. Last time Peter Brock won a total round of the Touring Car Championship. I think it was in 1990 at Wanneroo, according to our stats man Nigel Greenway. In the meantime, Perkins.
Oh, look at that.
That's
You
all right. He's just expecting they're both on Dunlops.
couldn't
Now
drop a tissue between them there.
He's
and
caught him wide here. That was definitely a good passing move from Larry. Castrol Race Cam showed it, so Larry moves up 1 spot. Won't change the order at the front with Brock Scaife, and now Larry Perkins to 3rd, Gardner back to 4th.
puts him up on the second row for the start of the second heat, and that will give him a tremendous jump into the remaining heat.
05, Peter Brock, familiar number, familiar face. Car running perfectly, and yesterday when Brock came from nowhere, let me tell you, in qualifying, everyone was saying, well, it'll be John Bower, Glenn Seaton or Mark Scaife for pole. They went out and gave it their best shot, and Brock went hurtling by into the first turn, deeper than I've seen him round Eastern Creek previously. Just enough to snare pole, and everyone responded, as you saw at the head of the show, with you know, the red cars and the blue cars are going to be up in front today. Well,
absolutely, that would spur him on, you know, Brocky. That would definitely give him the motivation. 1 lap to go, the crowd's applauding Brocky. He has to put 1 more lap together, and he's won this opening heat and won it convincingly.
And a good day for him too, Alan, because he's got Tom Walkingshaw here from the UK. And here comes Thomas Mazera and Wayne Gardner trying to dispute back there in 4th spot.
This is a big day for the factory Holdens. We haven't seen them perform anything like this so far this season. They've had a couple of good days, but
a couple of seasons, if you want to really get analytical there, Doug.
I stand corrected.
Well, the Fords have got some work to do before Heat 2 here this afternoon. This scrap between Thomas Mazera and the second of the Telecom Mobile Net cars continues, with Wayne just trying to hold him off. Larry's already gone through.
Thomas knows the value of 1 more place, get him up on the second row of the grid. He'll be trying hard here. He won't just say, oh, well, I'll take this spot. It's not bad. If Wayne so much as even blinks on one of these tight corners, I think Mazera will go for it.
Especially with Mr. W in the pits.
There's Gardner, the Coca-Cola Commodore, and Thomas Mazera coming down. He'll go hard under brakes here if he can on the inside, or try and snip him on the exit to this turn. Gardner will hug in tight, not giving that inside run, make him do it right around the outside, as you can see. In the meantime, Brock is already up into the final turn, and the fans in the grandstand starting to warm to the idea as Peter Perfect comes down the front straight away, and it's checkered flag time. Peter Brock wins again. Keeps everyone happy at Eastern Creek, particularly the Holden followers.
They love that man.
Second spot will go to Mark Scaife and the Winfield Commodore. Third to Lightning Larry. Fourth goes to Gardner. And fifth to Thomas Mazera. You might call a Holden blitz. A fabulous drive to Peter Brock, and it's good for motor racing business that the boss is back and showing a few of the youngsters that he can still handle a car as quickly as anyone. Pole position, 51st career pole yesterday, and coming up with a win in the first heat here today. Checking them out for you on our Shell race score. Brocky is back, the winner over Mark Scaife's Winfield Racing Commodore. Third, Larry Perkins in the Castrol Commodore. Fourth, Wayne Gardner. And rounding out the five was Thomas Mazera.
Peter, you got the great start, but a few of the other guys made it easy for you. They were dropping like flies.
Yeah, it was great to see the clear bit of road in front. I've often thought that the last few races we could do the job. Clear bit of road, get it neat, get it tidy, and yeah, it worked out beautifully. I looked in the mirror occasionally, and things went my way, for no doubt about that.
Pete, the last two touring car rounds have been on very tight circuits. Obviously, the free-flowing Eastern Creek circuit suits you and suits the Holden.
Yeah, well, Phillip Island, I love Lakeside too, and you get to the tighter tracks, it's a little bit more difficult to get motivated because it tends to be more of a club circuit, but, you know, they're part of racing. But I love tracks like this in Eastern Creek. I love it.
Quick tip for heat number 2.
Well, I think I can do it again. I kept the car very intact. I didn't slide it around. I feel like it's in pretty good condition. We'll wait and see.
He's like the cat sitting in the fish shop, isn't he? Here's the lineup for heat number 2. Brocky starts out of pole. Mark Scaife shares the front row. And out of row number 2, it's Larry Perkins and Wayne Gardner. Thomas Mazera starts out of position number 5 in car number 015. From 6 at 17, Dickie Johnson. From 7:30, Alan Jones. And from 8, number 6, Jimmy Richards. Paul Morrison, 23, starts out of 9. And Johnny Bauer, 18, from position number 10. From 11, it's 25, Tony Longhurst. 12 is 24, Greg Crick. And from 13, number 3, Steve Reed. 14 is 7, Neil Crompton. 15, 39 is Chris Smurden. 16, number 12, Bob Jones. The Ampole car, Don Watson, starts in 26 out of 17. 18 is 16, Graham Blythman. John Trimble in 47 out of 19. And Ian Palmer car, 20 from 20. Position number 21 is 36, Neil Shembry. 22 is 41, Gary Wilmington in the Falcon. Glenn Basin in 42 out of 23. And 24 is 62, Wayne Russell. Glenn Seaton, car number 1, out of position number 25. And with a lot of work to do. 26 is 33, Bob Pearson, the product car. Mike Conway starts out at 27. And Terry Finnegan rounds out at 28 car field. Right, mate. Peter Brock stares straight ahead. He wants to make this 2 in a row at Eastern Creek this afternoon. He sits in the Telecom MobileNet Commodore on pole position 05 and gets off the line well, but Scaife goes with him, gets off to a good start. Perkins away, and car number 30, Alan Jones, goes down the inside of the pit wall, trying to make it into a very tight first corner. Managed it too. I think he probably picked up about 5 spots. Rocky's clear as they whistle on down to the second turn, the left-hander. Mark Scaife in second, Perkins is third, and look at Jones up on the inside, comes through there, putting plenty of pressure on Wayne Gardner as they exit that turn and make their way on the run down to the hill.
Well, another perfect start. You don't do that twice in a day too often, but when the pressure was on, he pulled it off. A wonderful start. Scaife got a better start this time, as did Perkins, and they're much closer to Brocky than he was in the first heat.
Perkins reckons he had Brocky worried. Maybe he was right. I thought it might have been audio rod walloping, but fundamentally, he certainly gave him the needle. Brocky did not muff the start, and he's now reaping the harvest. Oh, great lock-up from Scaife as well.
Look at Jones, though. Jones has made an incredible start.
Where did he come from?
He started about the middle of the pack, but got down the inside away to an absolute blinder off the start. So here's Brock coming down the other side of Corporate Hill to the right-hander. Scaife runs in second, a car length back. Here's Jones up on the inside now of Larry Perkins, putting the pressure on. He wants to get a Falcon up here this afternoon.
Something for the Fordies at last. There's not been much joy for the Ford fans here at Eastern Creek today. This is the first glimmer of hope. It's a shot.
Wayne Gardner with the Castrol race cam. So Jones, in fact, started out of position number 7.
That's fantastic. What a great start from Jonesy.
They come down to reel off the first. Listen to the crowd as they sweep by the grandstand. Their hero is in front. It's Peter Perfect. And he's got Scaife riding on the back of his tail down to the left-hander. It's full stick through here. And then try and stick, if you can, to the inside of the road, not to leave a gap open for the next turn.
Yes, well, Brock knows he's got. There's Bob Pearson just having a moment coming onto the straight. Lots of dust, but it won't be any bother to the field. By the time they get around, it'll have cleared. Brock knows he's got a real challenge on his hands here now. Scaife is going for broke. Both cars on their last heat, they'll be driving them to the medal from the very opening lap, not worrying about the tyres.
Well, there's the Daily Planet car. It's gone off.
Trimble, car number 47. The question you've got to ask yourself is, if Brocky picked a soft tyre that allowed him to dominate so significantly in the earlier races today, is that tyre going to fail him as this race wears on?
It will if Scaife keeps hammering him the way he was.
Gardner, a shot from the Castrol race cam there, and he's pushed Perkins out of the way.
Gone.
Look
He
out.
can't save it.
We've lost one.
Can't save it at those speeds. A tap from behind. We've seen it happen 3 times here today, and each time the driver has lost it. He just cannot take that kind of a punt at the angle of attack that's taking place.
Touch of Talladega about Eastern Creek here today. Look at them closing up behind Jimmy Richards, car number 6, as they exit that turn and sweep into the next right-hander. Jones was the one on the move. There's Richards in car number 6, sitting in there behind Thomas Mazera. Here's the replay. Here comes Wayne Gardner in. Oh, just a little touch there.
A bit more than a little.
Yes, it was a bit more than a little. But Larry goes around, and watch Larry catch the brakes quickly as Brock leads them back across the strike again. 0-5, the race leader, Mark Scaife in second. Third place is held by Alan Jones in the Peter Jackson Falcon, car number 30.
Car looking good through the fast left-hander, and it is fast here at Eastern Creek off the main straight. They're barreling down here past the grandstand. Both cars there on the shot looking great.
And the interesting thing is Glenn Seaton, as we know, started position 25, is now up to 11th after 2.5 laps. Here's Neil Crompton coming through on the inside. There's another one on. That's Greg Crick, 24. He's dropped his skirt. Gets back on.
The dust and grime that's getting thrown onto the track here, it's going to be very hard for the fellows to read a consistent lap. Each lap's going to have a different feel to them. And sand is like marbles under the tires.
Of course, we had oil dumped on the track earlier in the Thunder Sports round, and we've had several major stacks in the HQ races, so it's not a slick surface today.
No, it's a little on the loose side, if anything, today, as the V8s come down through this sweeper, very fast part of the track, and into a right-hander.
Everybody's moving. It may look processional, but boy, just the slightest miff, the slightest gear change that you might miss, and you've lost a spot. Everybody's in this freight train.
We're riding with Glenn Seaton here, carrying our budget car rental race camp. Into the left-hander, he's right behind Paul Morris, and he is trying, so there's no point. He's going for broken this one. Here he comes down the inside, trying to get Morris just to shift ground a little. He won't. Brock's across the line, leading from Scaife. Jones is in third place, followed by Thomas Mazera. Next is Jim Richards. Then it's Dick Johnson, John Bowe, Wayne Gardner, Paul Morris, and this man that we're following and riding with, and that is Glenn Seaton.
He banged over the ripple strips there at the top of the straight. I would have thought after his altercation with the ripple strips in the first heat, he might be trying to avoid him. He damaged his exhaust.
See ya!
Oh! He's nailed Morris, but has he lost it? Yes.
He's gone again.
He has.
Same spot twice.
Same thing. Don't hang it up again, man.
So that is not the corner today for Glenn Seaton, the defending champion. Car number 18 is John Bowe, who we thought may have dictated the outcome of today's round for Ford. That's not to be. Replay, let's have a look again. Keeping in mind, there goes Seaton in very, very tight. And actually, the trouble was he overran Paul Morris, and he had the tail of Wayne Gardner sitting there, so he's pulled it around.
Compton missed him.
Been very lucky in traffic that people haven't been taking somebody else out as they've spun.
During that fracas, Bowe got past Gardner too, a little more successfully than in the first heat.
Well, here's Scaife hounding Brocky. He hasn't got it all his own way in this heat. And as you mentioned, Doug, if his tires were a little bit on the softish side, if they start going off, Scaife, he's hurting there a bit. You see the car in a slide.
Yeah.
And that's obviously not gripping at the level that he'd like. And Scaife truly in the slipstream now, not quite close enough on the long Eastern Creek straight. But
watch him make a run here on the inside.
He's letting him know I'm here to take your spot.
Now, Brocky, no one could probably drive a car much better than Brocky in a situation like this, but if he holds Scaife up, you're going to have Jones all over the back of the pair of them shortly.
Well, Jones is catching him now. He's catching them at a rate. Here he is in shot. Look, in third position. This is going to be a real good thing for the Ford fans. They haven't had much to cheer about. Scaife is all over Brock. In my opinion, Brock's tyres are going off.
It does look a little
Let's
that
give
way.
him a couple of more laps. He can hang on to it for a while. And Scaife is not exactly alongside his door handles yet, but certainly is in a menacing position.
You've got to pass him then too.
Yes.
You can get alongside, but you've got to pass him.
The world's widest Commodore.
Yes, he's got his dander up here today.
Oh, a big brake lock up from Scaife there. Another man who's running very hard tyres today is Neil Crompton in the Coca-Cola Commodore number 7, the 7 car. He didn't shine earlier because he was on those hard tyres. It might well stand him in good stead as this race wears on. Keep an eye out for that car.
12 laps to go,
Here's
and here
another
comes
lunge.
Scaife. And here comes Jonesy. AJ's on the move in the big Ford.
We know one thing, Mark, if they're in picture, they're close.
Yes.
There's not room for a lot of cars in one frame. Here we are. Now Scaife knows he wants to get as close as possible on the very start of the run onto the main straight. Quite as good as he may have hoped for. Yeah, I don't think he's as close this time as he was last lap.
Well, Brock leads them across the line again in the Telecom Mobile Net Commodore. Listen to the crowd. They don't seem to be having a good day at all, do they? Second spot held by Scaife. Jones trying to make up that distance. And Brock in almost a complete drift through that turn.
Yes, a little nervous wiggle in the rear of the car. I can assure you Peter would have been feeling that and knowing that he's right on the limit there on that fast left-hander. Drivers want to feel the car glued to the rear, up to the ground, and that's not the place to have a little wiggle. Very upsetting. Unsettling rather than upsetting.
Well, look who's arrived to make a party out of it. It's Alan Jones in car number 30. And while Scaife was concentrating on trying to drill the inside line away from Peter Brock, he's now looking in the mirror saying, oh no, it's AJ.
One thing about these beautiful colors that all these companies are using, you don't have any trouble seeing anyone in your rearview mirror.
No, you certainly don't, Alan. This is going to be tight stuff now for second and third. Mark's hunched over the wheel. He's got the head up. He's got the arms up too and just looking in the mirror. And just watch how Brock's got away from there.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brocky will be real glad that Jones boys arrived because this little dice is going to make it a lot easier for him with that clear road in front of him. I think
Just needs a slight degree of relief so that he can just nurse the tires a little bit through the corners. That's all he'll need. And Alan Jones knows he's carrying the Peter Jackson flag here today with his boss down further in the pack.
No, he's very close here. He's drafting Scaife. No, it seems to have the legs, doesn't he?
Oh, he has.
Fredo's definitely got the horsepower around these Winfield Commodores.
He has in a straight line. Now Jones and Seaton make up a lot of ground through the turns. Oh, there's Wayne Gardner. He's been off into the kiddie litter. Then again, just about everyone has today. What happened?
Here's the shot
tearing into the hair. The back end breaks away. Wayne has a look. There goes the traffic. There's a lap car there back behind him. He goes off and catches it, and as you can see, he was able to come back out on the racetrack again.
Nice safe circuit here. Plenty of room to go off after these fast corners. No one's been hurt because they've hit a wall.
Plenty of lush green grass to spin out onto. It's a bit of a desert. Unfortunately, about 2/3 of New South Wales in drought at the moment. And nowhere worse than here at Eastern Creek. I think they'll invest the excellent takings from today's huge crowd in a sprinkler system if they're wise.
Could be.
Getting tight for second again as they come beneath the Winfield Bridge. Mark Scaife and Alan Jones on his tail. Thomas Mazera is one spot back behind them in fourth. So if a Falcon's going to do something here today, it's all in the hands of Alan Jones. A little locked up break that time from Scaife. Jones was a little cleaner through that turn, both the approach and the exit.
Visibly powering it stronger through the corners, the Blue Falcon. Alan Jones certainly knows how to plant his foot when he sees daylight in front of him. And on this occasion, he just wants to get rid of this red blur in front of him, and it'll be even more daylight.
Well, he got onto a very good line through that turn. He was on the throttle early, and with 9 laps to go, they come down the straightaway. Brocky's still there. Jones is still in second. There's the gap. So we check them out for you on our Shell race score. Go, Brocky, go, is the cry from the grandstand. Mark Scaife runs in second. AJ is third. Thomas Mazera fourth. And Jimmy Richards rounds out the 5. Don't go away. It all happened in the final lap. Down the hill again at Eastern Creek, Peter Brock, Mark Scaife. Next is Alan Jones and Thomas Mazera in the second of the Telecom Mobile Net cars. Back in fourth and actually gaining a little on Alan Jones. So we're heading for a tight finish here today at the Creek.
It's interesting watching Peter Brock's lap times too. He hasn't fallen that much off his pace in the first heat. He was lapping around 34.1, 34.2. He's only around that time now, maybe a tenth or second slower, so he's hanging in there.
It's showing the pace that is demanded to win a Australian Touring Car round. Mark, it's no easy achievement to stay that close to your qualifying times, but he's been forced to here, because if he backs off even a modicum, he's going to be in trouble. Scaife and or Alan Jones will be right through.
The two of them very quick through that turn. Brock out to about 2 car lengths at most. That's all there'd be in it.
Every breather he can get, Mike, every corner that he can just go through slightly less than full slather will serve him well, and it'll allow him to control the car right to the finish line.
If you think back about 5 laps, there was Brock doing some skating over the road, and Mark Scaife all over the tail of him. Jones arrived, and that's what's happened. That's first, second, third. Here's fourth, Thomas Mazera and the Telecom Mobile Net Commodore. Then we go back up the road to the two Dick Johnson Falcons coming in. And going through the turn, Johnson is first, Bauer's the next one through, followed then by Jimmy Richards. So Jim's dropped back a place.
Well, it's a long way to go yet. It's only half distance in this heat, so it's no lay down misère. Brock leading, but holding on just from Mark Scaife and Alan Jones.
Brock's lap time's just drifting out by 0.3 of a second or so now, so the tyres may be getting a little bit tired. But indeed, these two cars will be just as tired, so it's a pretty even match.
I think the drivers might be getting a little bit tired at this pace. The energy that they have to use up to maintain this kind of pace is quite awesome.
This looks easy in the lounge room at home. You should look at these guys when they step out of the cars. They are wringing wet. Here comes Jones down on the inside. Excuse me.
Absolutely.
Mr. Ford is on the move.
One of the cleanest moves you'll ever see.
Perfect passing move. Straight in, under brakes.
No lock brake.
No brakes, no problem at all. He didn't even wiggle in front of Mark Scaife.
Scaife gets shuffled back in the pack to third position, so it's Holden, Ford, Holden. Alan Jones, the Ford meet in the Holden sandwich. And the fascinating tyre battle too between Bridgestone, Yokohama and Dunlop. It's just Bridgestone and Yokohama at the front of this stage.
Listen to the crowd now. They've seen a Ford on the move. All those people that were sitting down there with the doldrums now, they've got Henryitis.
They got something to cheer about. Well, there's plenty of them in the stand. They just didn't have a chance to express themselves earlier. But here's Alan Jones holding the fort for the Ford fans. And up to second, great position.
Jones could go on with this. He has taken any number of laps to actually pick these two up. Spent probably 5 or 6 laps just tailgating Mark Scaife and just to pick the right time and the right line. He's done that. Gets out by a couple of car lengths over Scaife and now makes the run after Peter Brock.
He's certainly looking comfortable.
John Bauer here sitting one spot behind Dick Johnson.
It's the battle for 5th and 6th position.
I don't think Dick would have wanted the finish that way. It'd be nice for Dick to finish in front of the other car, but the others is brand new. And Terry Finnegan, car number 27, one of the really nice Sydney privateers. Great guy. He's gone off. Don't feel sad about it, Terry. Everyone else has been today.
John Bauer with a fairly big dent in the front of his brand new Shell 18 Falcon, which he wouldn't be liking.
They might take that out of his salary this week. Do you think he'll have to buy a new bonnet?
There's Dick going through, John Bauer behind him. Actually interesting to look at the way the points work for the championship. If Jones was to slip by Peter Brock and actually win this heat, Brock would still take top points overall on the day.
Well, the Holden runners really turned the table on the Fords. The Fords were supposed to dominate here, the circuit suiting their cars better. But the Holdens just been dominant throughout both qualifying and in the racing.
Well, people will be looking towards Bathurst with that in mind and saying, if they can do this at Eastern Creek, what are they going to do on the long straights at Bathurst?
6 laps to go. Round number 7, race 2 of the Shell Australian Championships from Eastern Creek. The midfield scrap between the two Ford Shell FAI teammates, Dick Johnson and John Bauer. Behind them is Glenn Seaton coming back up through the field again. Brock still maintaining his lap times and continuing to lead over Alan Jones and Mark Scaife.
The lap times at the front are really starting to fall off. Peter Brock's last lap of 1:35.9. I mean, they're really starting to slow down now. So tyres starting to head south in the final laps of this heat too, and that could have quite a bearing on the result. We look inside Dunlop race cam, inside Dick Johnson's FIA number 17 Falcon. His teammate John Bowe getting closer all the time, and just in the distance you can see there Glenn Seaton after a pretty disastrous sort of weekend.
Oh, I think I'd put the white flag out and wave Glenn by today, the way he's going. Give him a wide berth, and particularly in turn number 2, I'd wave him by.
Good shot of the superstructure inside the Shell Falcon.
Aha, look at, here's Thomas Mazera starting to make ground now on Mark Scaife. Thomas has run really without sight of the leaders until the last couple of laps. In 4th spot. Remember how he came on gangbusters in heat number 1 today, chasing all over the tail of Wayne Gardner at the finish.
Yes, I think it's particularly worrisome for the Ford camp to not only see Brock in front, but the fact that the team car is also in the top 5 and looking very healthy.
5 laps to go as Peter Brock crosses the start-finish line. This is the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th. Glenn Seaton going absolute gangbusters in this Falcon trio as he tries to fight his way back to the field and get maximum points he can for this round.
Oh, here goes Bowie up the inside of Dick.
JB's got the same idea. Move over, boss.
Oh, 3 wide.
Let's make it a trio.
Oh, Seaton, he's had a terrible run on this corner. He's already spun twice there today. Manages to survive.
That was a good move.
It certainly was.
He'll come down the inside here and he's caught Bowie out wide. Nothing bad. Bow's done all that good work and nothing's really worked for him. He's just gone back a spot.
Seaton's on an absolute flyer, as Budget Rent-A-Car Race Cam shows you, as he picks up the 2 Shell Falcons very, very quickly.
Dick Johnson saying, I'm not going to have too much of this. I want to get back into the fray. He was flying through that left-hander.
Seaton moves up to 5th position. Give him a few points for the championship as we take Budget Race Cam once again from the Peter Jackson Ford. A look out the back of the car with 2 Shell Fords bearing down on him.
Those Bridgestones must be working for Glenn. I mean, he's given them the industrial off-road stuff today on a couple of occasions, and he's still been able to come from the back of the pack basically twice in one race.
Yeah.
So that race,
slight advantage of not having the total number of laps that are on the Shell cars at the moment, and that will tend to show at this point of the second heat.
3 laps to go. There's the gap. Peter Brock leading Alan Jones, Mark Scaife, and a closing Thomas Mazera as Jones goes through in car number 30. Keeping the hopes of Ford fans at least alive for the next couple of circuits as Neil Crompton. Neil's on wheels. He was on all 4. Now, has he stalled it? No, he's got it going. So he's off and running. Has there been anyone here today that hasn't had a ride into the rough? I think Brock.
A lot of serious contenders have really been making some crucial errors.
It's been a day where everyone's had a little drift onto the kiddie litter at Eastern Creek. There's Mark Scaife. He's driven very well all day today. He's done the chasing job after Peter Brock. And there's Thomas Mazera with 2 laps to go. Next time they come around, whether or not he's got enough left in reserve here with the 015 car to be able to mount a challenge on Mark Scaife.
Well, Peter Brock has driven on Bridgestones all his career, and they've certainly served him well today, and he served them well here today. To manage 2 heats from start to finish is really something to brag about.
Graham Blythman and the ex-Holden Racing Team Commodore, they're just getting out on the grass, but he's managed to gather it up as well. One of the rookies at Eastern Creek this weekend, but this man, anything but a rookie, Peter Brock, well in control of round 7 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship today. Dominant performance in qualifying, and boy, hasn't he proved it in the race. A lot of talk he was running a tyre that was too soft and it was just grabbing all the glory for the pole position, but boy, race trim, has this car been consistent?
All that chat sort of goes out the door in a hurry, doesn't it? Whatever tyre he chose, he's done well with it.
Brock's last Touring Car Championship round win was actually at Wanneroo in 1990 in a Ford Sierra. This is his 35th Australian Touring Car Championship win if he brings it home in 11.5's time. And Holden Racing Team have never won an Australian Touring Car Championship round. Can you believe that? They've won a dash twice last year, but unfortunately never been able to put a round win together. It'll be a big day for them and for their boss, Tom Walkingshaw, who's here. Has a chopper standing by to take him to Sydney Airport, then back to London. You'll even crack it for a smile, maybe.
Well,
down into the right-hander comes Brocky. Anyone that thought this bloke's racing career was over? Think again. All he needs is a competitive car and boy, he's made some other pretty good drivers look fairly ordinary in the last couple of races, let me tell you.
Mind you, it's not over yet. We've still got 2 laps to go, and Alan Jones is bearing down on him, taking some big chunks out of Brock's lead here. Let's just have a look on the wider shot. He's just getting a little bit closer each time around.
Yeah, you want a lazy 100 on it? Coming out of the top corner. They'll take the last lap board this time, wait for the crowd and the grandstand here to Will Brocky on with 1 to go.
Well, his heartbeat will be up now. He'll know that he's got the race in his hands and just won't want to make the slightest mistake.
Here's back to the gap from the leaders, back to Glenn Seaton, who's been through the field twice today, as I recall. As Brock goes into turn number 2 on his last lap, the exit out of there. He looks so relaxed behind the wheel.
It's funny how good a car looks when it's in the lead. Doesn't really matter what brand it is.
AJ making a run after him, but I think that's about as close as he will get in this last half lap of the race. The next left-hander, Brock goes in. A fitting reward for Holden Racing Team and Brock's sponsors, including Mobil. I said earlier today.
Whoa!
Take it easy.
That's just to give the fans a thrill.
Take it easy.
I hope so.
Not there yet.
A pretty sideways turning in there.
Another quarter of a degree of that, and they'll be coming around quicker than he'd like.
Oh, Thomas closing on Mark Scaife. All or nothing.
And I'm sure many people in the know will be aware of Ron Harrop's contribution to the running of this team over the last 6 months, taken on as a consultant engineer after Bathurst last year, and really no car gets up to the front in this field by accident.
Absolutely correct. About to head out of the last turn. Mount Panorama Bathurst is only a few months away, and the hero from the Mount wins at Eastern Creek Raceway. Brocky belts them senseless. Second goes to Alan Jones, third to Mark Scaife, and fourth to Thomas Mazera. So
Shame he's so unpopular, Mike.
the day certainly belongs to Peter Brock. Just a casual look out the window, 30 seconds and a cup of tea. Brocky's done it very, very well here today. Car number 05. Here he comes downhill. Brocky on the Shell Racecourse takes the win and the round here today. Second spot goes to Alan Jones, third to Mark Scaife, fourth to Thomas Mazera, and can you believe it, from the back of the field twice, Glenn Seaton rounds out the 5. Sixth spot, car number 18, John Bowen. Seventh went to Dickie Johnson in 17. Eighth was Jimmy Richards. Ninth, Paul Morris, and Tony Longhurst, and the B&H Commodore rounds out the 10.
Welcome back to Eastern Creek, and these V8s just don't disappoint. A great day's racing yet again in round 7 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Third place on the day. Congratulations to Alan Jones. You did it tough starting out of position 10.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. I'm absolutely delighted. I've been in more trouble than Speed Gordon all weekend, and the car's been getting better and better, and I really didn't think I'd end up in the rostrum today, so I'm delighted.
It was a track before the meeting many thought Fords would dominate. That wasn't the case.
Well, we have in the past. It's been well suited, but it just shows that the Holdens are making leaps and bounds on us in the old progression department, so we're going to have to go back and do some homework.
Alan, congratulations. Second place on the day to Mark Scaife. You've got a handy lead in the championship. You're proving consistency wins championships.
Well, you know, we're not approaching it like that, but it's ended up like that. We've finished on the podium every time so far, and to Winfield and Yokohama and Holden, obviously the car's done a great job so far for Gibson Motorsport.
You're involved in a little bit of everything there with the several different drivers.
Well, we were a little bit, but that's the nature of the place and the nature of the racing. It's very, very close, and the competition's fierce.
Mark, congratulations. At this stage, I'll introduce the motorsport manager for Shell, Mr. Ross Brody, to present the winner's garland to Peter Brock. Quite an ovation. He's the king of the mountain. He's the king of the creek today. Peter, congratulations. Your teammate Thomas would say you had a real big go out there today. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it was great. Got a good start, and you know, we made the right decision as far as the chassis set up and the tyres, etc. we had a few hiccups as the weekend went by, but I'm very proud of the boys. They responded magnificently, and you know, Bridgestone built some good tyres, and Mobil, Telecom, Holden dealers. Thanks for your great support, guys. It was fantastic.
And a bit of history today.
Yes, someone told me that I was the oldest guy ever to get pole position, the oldest guy ever to win Touring Car Championship, and Alan Jones just informed me that CAMS have awarded me a bonus 10 points because of that feat. So that's very nice of them, really, wasn't it?
Pete, congratulations. I've been here with the winners. You two at home could also be a winner.